Have you ever shot a school trip or a sports day and realized that you've captured the same kid 12 times while totally forgetting the birthday girl? Yep, that's my superpower. Canon, bless their bespectacled boffins, reckons that they can fix that. How? Well, not by tweaking autofocus or sprinkling more AI dust on the cameras. Nope, they want to strap on smart glasses. So stick around as I break it down step by step. And if you're serious about staying ahead of the latest camera gear, well then go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It keeps this channel growing and it keeps you in the loop. In Canon's patent application JP 2025-078534, filed on November the 8th, 2023, and published May the 20th, 2025, Canon claims to provide an imaging system which enables the photographer to confirm the number of images of each object or subject photographed in real time and assist the photographer to uniformly photograph each object. When we're out in the field, after taking several dozen or several hundred photos, we like to get a grasp of what we've taken and what we haven't, because at least some of us over 35 don't have the best memory. So we swipe through our cameras like we're swiping Tinder. And it takes a bit of time. And like Tinder, it doesn't always go very well. It takes forever and we always miss something. Well, JP 2025-078534 tackles a painfully real issue. How do we make sure that every single person at a large event gets photographed and gets photographed evenly in focus? Today our options are simple. Memorize faces, jot down notes, or thumb through hundreds of thumbnails on a tiny screen. So how does Canon solve this problem in a nutshell? And there is an awful lot of tech packed into this nut. Step 1, well, you strap on a pair of Canon smart glasses, like a camera nerd superhero. The cape is optional. Step 2, your camera connects with the glasses and starts communicating. I mean, really communicating. And the magic happens in step 3, where Canon feeds you real-time subject recognition, facial tracking, and stats about your shot, and as how it relates to your shot list. These glasses, technically known in the patent application as head-mounted display, do some pretty slick stuff. They recognize faces, they track your eyeballs, and they quietly whisper, "You've already photographed this person 3 times. Maybe you should stop stalking them." And I certainly hope that this feature works a little bit better than the eye-controlled autofocus that debuted with the Canon EOS R3 that we also now find in the EOS R1 and the R5 Mark II. I tried setting that up and it didn't work very well. It was like I was trying to control something with my eyebrows, and like it was, yeah, it was all over the place. It just didn't work out very well. I'm going to try it again. Hopefully I can get it to work, but yeah, let's hope this technology is better applied than eye-controlled autofocus, which, depending on who you are, works for some and definitely not for others. Yes, in a way, it's a definite improvement over Google Glasses. A more focused, nuanced approach to using glasses that actually fits as an augmented tool to an already very well-functioning device. And not a phone in this case, but a mirrorless camera. But this is where things get interesting, and I mean really interesting. So you've got your shot list of everybody that you want to take at this event, but you haven't shot everyone yet. The camera can just take the shot automatically. Yeah, I know I felt a little bit Skynet there too. It just feels a little bit creepy, or as my son would say, cringe. This kind of makes it feel like it's one of those features more like a half-baked feature that we saw with the R5 Mark II, scrapping pixel shift and replaced it with an upscaling mode that, well, doesn't work very well. Impressive on paper, but questionable in the real world. But this is where the patent application gets a little bit more sci-fi. You can actually preload faces, clothing colors, ages, and even expressions, so that the system knows who you're looking for in a crowd, or how someone is dressed in a crowd, looking for specific outfits. Now, to be clear, this isn't about surveillance or spying, because if you thought that that was a particular application here, that's how I felt. But then I read a bit deeper. I went over the entire application, the scope of the details, the detailed descriptions. Anyhow, it's pages upon pages of information. What this patent application is about is preloading visual data into the system, into the mirrorless camera. It's about precision and efficiency. And it's designed to help you when you're working in those high-pressure environments where you're focused on getting the shot of the bride, or shooting a corporate event and making sure you get the right people shot, all the different shot lists taken care of. High-pressure environments like weddings, the perfect opportunity to load clothing color to focus on the bride, for example, or for graduations to focus on those wearing gowns or the colors associated with gowns, or commercial shots where you're focused on age or certain facial expressions. Because the one thing this patent application is really, I think, just the cat's meow, is it uses AI in a very smart way. In a way being a true virtual assistant. So we've got a shot list of every person we want to get. Now, as we're shooting, we're doing our best to remember who's on that shot list, and quite often we do quite well, but we always forget things. But what about that time where we get all the shots and then we get back and realize this one isn't quite in focus? Now, having that assistant whisper something in your ear, hey, this person isn't in focus, well, that's a pretty big deal. Or to remind you that you're missing this person. And I think that can be really handy, because when we are in high-pressure environments, quite often we shine and we spit out a diamond. But sometimes we get that feeling in our gut that, oh my God, we missed a key shot and we can't go back. Now, there's a definite value proposition here. This feature is designed for photographers that want a high hit rate and that are willing to spend almost anything to gain an edge. For people shooting with a Canon EOS R5, the R3, or the R1. It's for those that care about sticking to the shot list, tracking their progress visually, and getting a heads up if the shot isn't in focus. The capabilities within this patent application can really help pro event photographers, commercial studio pros, or pretty much anyone shooting at large events. But the ordinary average guy taking photos at family events or hobbyists, it's probably not going to be a big enhancement to their workflow. Now, there are certain situations, for example, if we take some shots and they're not in focus, the camera somehow missed, well, it could let us know. Now, if we set the camera to 30 frames per second, maybe not so much. Canon's been experimenting with head-mounted gear for years, as seen in patent application JP 2023-154894. But this one feels a little bit different. It's not just tech for tech's sake, as was the case with 2023-154894. 2025-078534, it's a real attempt to enhance the mirrorless experience, especially for working pros. What I love about this patent application is that it isn't about adding a faster autofocus system or adding more megapixels. It's about using AI to actually deliver results that we would kind of expect from somebody else to help us with, like having an assistant. To be able to have a shot list and let you know, yes, you got all these shots, and yes, you got these, but these ones here aren't in focus. You want to try that again. To help us with recognizing the subject, being able to preload visual information into the system so that way it could focus primarily on those types of subjects or objects. That's a really big deal. Anytime that we can improve the hit rate as working pros, that's where we gain an edge over the competition. So, could this wonderful new technology flop? Sure, just like the eye-controlled autofocus that I talked about earlier. It's a really terrific innovation, and it works very well for some, and borderline useless for others. And maybe it just ends up being as effective as this feature, the sliding touch bar on the original EOS R. But if Canon actually nails this, they implement this technology seamlessly to where we don't notice anything but the value at the end, this could be huge. Just look at the autofocus system the way it is today. The ability for the camera to lock on to your eyes, not just your eyes, but animals, birds, to be able to track all sorts of subjects, to be able to track not just a race car that's going fast around the track, but the driver in the car. I mean, autofocus is one of those technologies that has gotten better and better with every new model. But not only that, as we saw with the R5 Mark II and the EOS R1, the enhanced AI capabilities of the Digic accelerator chip, as well as the code within the camera, is allowing the camera to do some pretty amazing predictive stuff. So for example, if you're photographing a basketball game, it will track the person who has the ball and not lock onto the focus of the ball, but to lock onto the eyes of the person carrying the ball. If the ball gets passed, the autofocus switches to that person. And that's pretty amazing. And that's what we've seen in the last year. I can only imagine that if Canon does this right, how it can improve our hit rate. And just imagine for a moment when you're shooting, what are certain things that the camera could tell you about that you might have forgotten? Obviously, if you didn't nail the autofocus correctly, that's something that could work in certain scenarios. Not when you're shooting 30 frames per second, obviously, but in studio shots, in event shots. I wonder what else could it do to be able to preload that data. I mean, in a way, this could potentially augment what we already have with the Canon EOS R5 Mark II with the new autofocus system. And the glasses could display other data visually that might be very hard to see through the LCD or even the EVF. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments section down below. Is this a gimmick? Or could this be something rather significant? And what I would like to know, and what other viewers would love to know, because a lot of people love reading the comments, give us your thoughts on how a feature like this, these Canon glasses tied into the Canon EOS R5 Mark II or other professional cameras, how it could deliver value to the way you shoot, how it could act as a virtual assistant. And I'm not talking about Microsoft Clippy. I'm talking about, well, almost in the direction that ChatGPT is going. And yes, sometimes it's borderline stupid and really bad. You'll tell it, that's wrong, and it says, yes, yes, I know, and here you go, here's the same garbage again. But there's other times where you look at ChatGPT and you think, my God, this is like having a team of co-op students helping me. Sure, they don't have the wisdom and the experience, but they're very quick. And they can gather a lot of data. And I don't know. This one here, I'm pretty interested in it. Anyhow, let me know what you think. First of all, I want to say a big thanks to you for watching this video and watching it to the very end. If you are interested in purchasing any camera gear from B&H, Adorama, or Amazon.com, then please consider purchasing using my affiliate links down below, because I'll be honest with you, this channel is viewer supported, and when you use those links, I get anywhere from 2 to 5% back, which really support this channel. And whether you click on a link and buy something else, it doesn't matter. I still get credit for whatever you clicked on within that session. And I also want to say a special thanks to Patrick at Downtown Camera in Toronto. Long before this channel got to the level of success it is at today, and I'm talking around 2,000 subscribers, he treated me with the white glove treatment. He gave me the white glove treatment. He treated me with, it was an incredible amount of respect. That's one thing that stood out about him. It's like nobody else had treated me like this. So you're just another customer, and he treated me differently. And that hasn't changed. So if you're looking at buying camera gear in Toronto or in Canada particularly, reach out to Patrick, tell him I mentioned you. Tell him, you know what I'm trying to say. I'm sorry. I fell down the stairs today, so I'm a little bit sore, and my mind isn't quite there. I'm a little bit foggy. But no, Patrick at Downtown Camera, not only does he know his stuff, but if you're looking for something, you want to pre-order something, you put your name down and he will call you. He's a gentleman and a scholar. And that's it for now. I want to thank you, sir. I want to thank you so much for watching. You might also want to consider joining my membership levels. Click join. I have a new insider level where I provide information about what goes on behind the scenes. I also take viewer questions. If you have questions and you're an insider and you want to know something, I'll actually shoot you your own dedicated video. And then every now and then we have live streams where we will just actually do a live stream, and instead of me just talking to you, I'd invite you into the stream privately where we can have a conversation with other insiders. And maybe if you get really comfortable at this, you could progress to being one of my, well, panelists at one of the live events. All that at $9.99 a month. And then I have the other level, which is $1.99 a month, where you get loyalty badges and what is it called? Those camera emojis that you can use when commenting. Anyhow, thank you so much for watching. Have yourself a great day, and we'll see you again soon.